Hi, House Hunters family. My name is Beth Bishop, and I am a real estate agent in the Fort Collins, Loveland metro area in northern Colorado. I'm submitting this video today on behalf of my clients, Kyle and Aaron Gronenthal, who have submitted their application to be chosen as one of your next casting families for an upcoming episode of House Hunters, and they would be awesome, by the way. Wanted to just tell you a little bit about our process and how I came about working with them. I met the Gronenthals about a year ago. They came into an open house with all of their extended family from Nebraska, and they had just relocated to the area and were really kind of cruising through some neighborhoods trying to decide where they could see their family best fitting. And I kept in touch with them over the years. And just recently, Kyle called me back and said, we're ready to go. So we went off and running. We hadn't really talked a lot about specifics about what they were looking for in a house. So my first meeting with them, I had each of them prepare a list of 5 things that they felt were most important in their future home. So Aaron had a list and Kyle had a list. And there were quite a few things that were very similar about their lists. They wanted a new modern home. They wanted one with an open floor plan, a yard for the kids, views. All those things were important to both of them. There were a few differences. Kyle definitely had garage space a little bit higher on his list. And the one difference was how they defined the word space. And really one of our biggest challenges through the whole process was really trying to find a balance on that definition. However, the very first challenge that we came across is that their 5, as they merged their lists, it pretty much came out to a definition something like this. They wanted a fairly new home on some acreage with views, and when you came down to their price range, they wanted to only spend about $500,000. The problem with that's a great amount of money, but when they really put a new home on land, the price is substantially higher. So I knew that was going to be our first big hurdle to overcome. So after really educating him on the market, letting him see what that 500 really does buy, they decided as part of that process that they weren't willing to forfeit the things that they really wanted in a house, so they upped their budget. So we were shopping with a budget of around $600. There were some homes that we looked at up to $625. However, they didn't really want to keep that. I know Kyle was really pushing for that land, and Erin really wanted to keep that budget as much as she could under $600,000. So when we talk about our second hurdle was that, like I had mentioned, the definition of space. Who would have known there could have been so many different definitions of the word space? However, Kyle defines space as not really having much of a neighbor around at all, and he wanted to be able to have a football field or a huge basketball court in the backyard for the kids. He wanted to just not have neighbors right there. And Erin, having not grown up like Kyle on a farm in Nebraska, but more in the city, wanted neighbors. She wanted kids to play with her kids, and she wanted to, although she was fine with a little bit of space, she certainly didn't want the same definition that Kyle did. So that was definitely a big challenge on how to really merge the two. I took them to quite a few places that allowed for a town type environment, however that might have backed to an open space or a green belt, so that there was really a vision of space, but maybe not one that they specifically owned. And there were a couple of the showings that went something like this. We'd walk into the new homes and Kyle would be very much enthralled with all the new stuff. Aaron would fall in love, and Kyle would get to the window and he would realize there's not enough space, and so he would disappear. And he would leave Erin behind to completely enjoy seeing herself in this home. She's talking to the builders. And Kyle would have excused himself to either diaper duty or wandering the sidewalks because he said, this is definitely not my idea of space. So that was definitely a huge challenge in trying to mirror the two. One of the other things, well, we did end up going to a few other properties. We did really navigate the outskirts of Fort Collins, the town of Windsor, Loveland areas, because that was where we could find land and some space, and we could stay within their budget. So we really did. Northern Colorado is very connected as far as the cities, so you can pretty much cross over from one city to another and you don't even really realize it. So we did find ourselves in a multiple city area search, and again, that was within still 20 minutes of each other, so we're not talking about huge spans of space. After a few outings, we ended up finding the one. And this discovery happened on a very blizzardy day. A huge snowstorm had hit, so I am sure that we were the only ones looking at property that day. But we came armed with our snow boots and we trudged up the long driveway. And as soon as we entered the house, Erin and Kyle fell in love. They knew this was an amazing home. The price was a little over budget. It was at $615,000. And they loved the modern feel, the open floor plan. It had a beautiful fireplace. And Kyle even went to the window and he stayed. And he smiled, and then he went to the garage and saw that it was a 4-car garage. And parked in the garage was a tractor that was included. And that kept going on and on. A pool table in the basement that was included. A recessed hot tub in the deck that was included. And it was a dream home for them. And then after that decision, we decided, well, we're going to go to work. We're going to get this house and we're going to try to get it under budget. And unfortunately, we hit another hurdle that even though the house had been on the market for a little while, we did end up going in with a competing offer. So there were multiple people bidding on the house, and we did end up winning, and our winning bid was at $595,000. So we were successfully able to stay under budget. So there's the story of the Gronenthal home search. It wasn't without challenges. There were times that I wondered if I was going to be able to please both of these people, but they were lovely family. They have 2 gorgeous children, and we really had a fun through the process. This is why I love my job. I love the people. I love the process, and to be able to take them through and educate them and counsel them through. I'm a teacher, and I really enjoyed the whole event with them. So I know this is a short goodbye because the Gronenthals are such an amazing family. I'm sure you will select them as one of your next casting crew. And so we will see you in Northern Colorado in not too soon. Thanks. We'll see you soon.